What's up guys, my name is Liam and today I have a special video planned for you. I actually put together some of my favorite creators and aimers out there in the community to talk about their favorite gaming mice of the year. There have been a ton of great releases this year, and I always try and stress the importance, if you are looking to pick up any of these products, to always watch as many reviews as possible. So let's go ahead and check out all the top picks from some of my favorite creators of the year.
Yo, what's up guys, my name is Jake, aka Jakeu. I also do reviews here on YouTube. I'd probably say I've been active in this community for about 5 or 6 years, but I only just started posting content, especially over on Twitter this year. And then eventually I started making videos as well. Ever since I was about 12 years old, I already got into mice and mousepads as well. But today we'll see what my favorite mice for this year were. Before we get into picking any of my favorite mice, I wanted to mention that my hands are 19 by 10. I play an aggressive claw grip. So my grip actually is a tiny bit special because I have my fingers together here on the right side. But other than that, it is a very conventional aggressive claw grip. So keep in mind my preferred grip style and hand size when I talk about these mice. So first of all, huge thanks to AimAdapt for making this video happen. I really appreciate it when the community can come together to do awesome stuff like this. But other than that, let's get right into my top 3. So for the spot number 3, I'm actually still going for the X2 mini shape. I still think that it's an amazing shape, especially for claw grip if you have hands below 19 by 10. I really love this aggressive back hump, and even though it is a very small mouse, it is actually not too short for me personally. If you have hands that are larger than 19 by 10, I could definitely see it being a bit too short for an aggressive or especially a relaxed claw grip. But especially with the upgrades on the new V2 version, with the upgraded coding, the 4K compatibility, and also the amazing looking dongle that lights up in blue, and with all these new color variants coming out very soon, and also the Demon Slayer collab which will be out very soon, I think that it's definitely a mouse worth looking out for if you play fingertip grip or that aggressive or even relaxed claw grip for some. Now together on that third spot, I also wanted to mention the OP1 Wii, which I do want to put at that spot as well because I simply can't choose between these two mice. The OP1 Wii is absolutely amazing for relaxed claw, but also that aggressive claw grip, since you do have a tiny bit of more length on the mouse compared to the X2 mini. I love absolutely everything about this mouse. The coding is absolutely nuts. The build quality is insane. All the buttons feel amazing, and as soon as I got used to that special unique shape that this mouse actually offers, especially because it is so narrow at the front, which does give you quite some benefits in game. I do feel more precise compared to many other mice that are simply too wide for me personally. But other than that, I also wanted to shout out Endgame Gear for actually making these screw holes readily accessible. Now you can't see these screw holes because my friend put on these special Tiger Arc skates that cover up the holes. But basically with the stock skates and also the optional versions, the screw holes are readily accessible and you can take the mouse apart at any point of time despite having skates mounted, which keeps you from stamping holes into your skates so that you can actually have these screws accessible. I think that this is probably the most underrated mouse of the year. Speaking of underrated, the standard X-Lite V3 version is absolutely insane, and that is why it's going into my number 2 spot of the year as a surprise for you guys, since I haven't really spoken about this mouse yet and don't have a review up on it yet. But I've been using this for 2 weeks straight now, and I simply can't get off it. As an old school EC2 main, this thing is fucking nuts. For once, Poulter actually managed to do a really good coding and also have the QC intact for this first batch. I have never had a Pulsar mouse that feels this freaking rock solid, and I'm so glad that they really took their time with the X-Lite V3. But yeah, when it comes to ergos, this is definitely my number 2 spot, and I do prefer it over the Lamsur Thorn. Before the X-Lite V3, this was actually my number 2 pick of the year, but I simply prefer this X-Lite V3 shape. I just find it that much more comfortable, and since I used to actually main the EC2, I definitely preferred this. And in my number 1 pick for this year is actually gonna be the Felina S450, mainly just because it's fucking $35 and it is a direct HDS Plus clone, which is my favorite shape of all time. It has a way better coding than the original G-Wolf's HDS Plus. It comes with a 3395 sensor, all the bells and whistles, and the only thing that keeps it from being absolutely amazing right out the box is that you have to reposition the battery onto the back here because it is pretty front heavy in the stock configuration. But that just takes 2 screws and that's about it. So for around $35 over on AliExpress, you simply can't go wrong with this thing. No matter if you play relaxed claw, aggressive claw, or even fingertip grip. But of course, I also need to shout out Gwolfs at this point because they are the ones that actually invented the shape. Gwolfs customer support hasn't been the best ever, but at least you do have a flat base right out the box. You have that 4K compatibility, which the Felina S450 does not. So this is definitely my #1 pick for this year. But that's about it for my part. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out all the other channels from this video. Peace out and see you next year, guys.
Hello everybody, hi Liam, my name is Oli, I'm a gaming peripheral reviewer on YouTube. Thank you for having me here in your video and for giving me the opportunity to present you my top 3 gaming mice of 2023. 2023 was a very busy year in the gaming mouse space, so the choice was not easy, but here are my personal top 3 gaming mice of 2023. So number 3, the OP1WE from Endgame Gear. This one surprised me. We all speak about the so long awaited XM2W and then got the XM2WE, and then out of nowhere they released very fast the OP1WE. I put it on the top 3 because it's different compared to all the releases this year for me. It has a unique small shape good for claw and fingertip grip. In my opinion, Endgame Gear bring with the OP1WE the mouse with the best quality built on the market this year together with the XM2WE and with the best coating. Moreover, you can replace the switches easily with a slightly lighter version. They designed the skates so that you can open the mouse without removing the skates. Despite it has all the technical specification with a price of $90, it's still a banger. Now, moving to my number 2, it's the Lamzu Atlantis Mini Pro in 4K. This one has almost the perfect shape for me and my hand size. It was a few weeks ago still my number 1, it just got kicked out on the 2nd place. But I still love it and I will still use it a lot. I especially like the elegant blue version. It's in my opinion Lamzu best coating yet. The switches are great, it's well balanced, I have amazing performance in gaming with it. Just a great solid gaming mouse for me. And my number 1 of 2023 is the Pulsar X-Lite V3 ES edition. It has just been released and I immediately fall in love again with. The X-Lite V2 used to be my main despite some issues. I always love ergo mice and the X-Lite shape is like gloves for my hands and finger. It's a perfect match for my claw grip style. With this V3, the X-Lite has been improved in so many ways. You don't need to install a software to change the settings, you can set almost everything directly on the mouse and it's easier with the display. Again, a unique features, great shape, great specification. Probably Pulsar best gaming mouse yet, and all that make this one my number 1 of 2023. So that was my top 3 gaming mice of 2023. I hope you enjoy. It was a pleasure to be here. I wish you all a nice day. Bye bye.
Hey everyone, this is Dave with Gen3D Tech. First off, I'd like to thank Liam for inviting me on this collab, and you should definitely check out all the other reviewers that collaborated on this. They're all very talented people and they all have interesting things to say. So for this video, I was asked to give my top 3 mice of 2023, and as you can see, I've got 3 extremely good mice that'll be in most everyone's top 3 or 5 or 10. For me, you know, that's kind of boring because everyone else is going to talk about a lot of the similar mice. So instead of that, I'm going to give you 3 mice that are kind of near and dear to my heart and that I've really enjoyed, and they might not be on other people's lists. And so first off, we have the VXC, which is an offshoot of VGN, and this is the R1 Pro Max. It actually just came out, and this is a very similar shape, if you might recognize it, to the Pulsar X2. This has a 4K polling and a 3395 sensor, Nordic MCU, coming in, I think it's around 54 grams. Now, the whole cost with the 4K dongle is, I think, around $66. So it's a really good deal, and build quality on my copy is extremely good. Now, a lot of times, first run copies, you can have some issues. But so far, I have this one and I have the lower end version, and both are solid copies. I've really enjoyed my time with it, and it's just probably the best bang for the buck. Now, if money's not an option, I'd probably get a Pulsar X2 V2 over this. But you definitely save a significant amount of money with this, so it's definitely kind of the best bang for the buck option. And the next one is the Ponage Stormbreaker. A lot of people in general really like this mouse, and it is kind of expensive. I think like $180, but it's really the only magnesium Argo mouse on the market currently, and I really just love it. It's got some of the best clicks of any of the mice that I have. It's just really enjoyable for me. The size and the shape fits my hand perfectly. I know not everyone loves it, but for me, I just keep coming back to this mouse, and I just love it a lot. It's really well built, really good clicks. It's just kind of expensive, so this is definitely on the high end. So if you don't have a lot of money, there are other options Argo wise that you can get under $100 that are near as good. But if you got the money, I definitely highly recommend the Stormbreaker. And this mouse right here is just came out recently. This is the Keychron M4, and this little guy also supports 4K polling. Now, my copy is around 39 grams, and a lot of people think that 39 grams, 40 grams is a lot for a fingertip mouse. As you can see, it's tiny. It is a fingertip mouse. It's also very narrow compared to like the G-Wolves fingertip mice. But I'm telling you, unless you're just really weak, this is nothing. It doesn't feel like anything. And at first, this was really difficult to use, but the more I've gotten used to using it, it's just so good at aiming. It's like the most accurate I've been with any mouse. The only thing is, occasionally I'll lose control when I'm doing some sweeping motions, but as I've gotten to use it more and more, that's happened less and less. So this is a mouse, if you put some time into, you can do really well. Now, I will say you can cramp up on this mouse because it's really small and it's a little awkward. So I can only use it for a few matches at a time, and then I'll switch to another mouse because it's not the most comfortable mouse. I definitely wouldn't do production with this mouse either. But at $70, it's much cheaper than any of the other fingertip mice. It's just a fun little toy, to me. So I've really enjoyed my time with this, and I was really surprised. Keychron's done a really good job of turning things around. Their quality on some of the early mice hasn't been that great, but the last couple have been kind of bangers. So hopefully they'll keep doing that with some future releases, and I'm really looking forward to that. But right now, these are the ones that if I had to sell all my other mice, I'd probably keep these just because I just enjoy using them. They're quite fun. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. Liam, thanks for letting me collab on this. Check out all the other creators. They're awesome people. And I wish everyone happy holidays and a happy new year. And I'll see you next year. Later.
Yo, what is going on? This is going to be my top 3 mice of the year. This is going to be probably my most biased list. As you know, we have all chosen our favorite mice for the year. So I'm just going to get started. So first I want to start here with the X2 Mini in pink. This is my all-time favorite mouse, and that's mainly because it's pink. It looks really nice, and it's really good for my grip style. My grip style is kind of like a hybrid of a palm fingertip type beat. It's really weird to explain. I'll just put an image up on screen so you can see the outline of what actually touches the mouse. But yeah, for the X2 Mini, it just fits in my hand so well, and it's just a great shape overall. And the only reason why I don't use the X2 V2 is because the pink just looks so sick. The coating on it is pretty bad. It slips out of my hand, unlike something like the Lamzu Maya, where if I do the exact same thing, it's not slipping out of my hand at all. It's definitely one of my top picks. This is actually my number 1 pick. So yeah, the X2 Mini in pink is just amazing. Next is going to be a kind of shocker mouse. If anyone has seen my video on this mouse, my copy did crack, this exact copy. And I'm pretty sure this is going to land on everyone's top 3. This is the WL Mouse Beast X. It looks absolutely insane. But with the side grips on it, it has become one of my favorite shapes. This is similar to the Starlight Medium. I believe it's a little bit shorter. Don't quote me on it. I do not own a Starlight Medium. but it's definitely one of those mice that I can definitely see myself never getting rid of. I am using the cyclone dots on this. This has just been my main skate layout for a minute now. And these stock shaders are absolutely awful. They're just not as good as the aftermarkets that I've been using. The clicks on it feel magnificent. The scroll wheel feels just great. The side buttons, my copy, it has a little bit of a wobble, but it's nothing too bad. And yeah, no, it's just a phenomenal mouse that I can totally recommend to anyone. At $140, I just don't see why anyone wouldn't get this if they're looking for a Starlight-ish or a Starlight-esque shape with low weight, 4K hertz, crazy looking dongle. It's just a great pickup. And for the last pick, it's very hard for me to choose because I actually only swap between like 2 or 3 mice. So this is going to be more of like these are the 3 that I currently have been using a lot more than anything else recently. The Lamzu Maya, the LA1 from Lethal Gaming Gear, and the Superlight 2. My Superlight 2 has no creaking issues on it. It feels absolutely perfect. The clicks on it are amazing. Side buttons, awful as usual. And I'm using Superglide V2s on it. And this has just been my personal main layout for pretty much like the last 2 or 3 weeks now ever since I got it. I've had absolutely no issues with it, and it's been amazing for me. The LA1 I just recently got, and I will be doing a review on this soon, so if you want to go check that out, go check out my channel. But the LA1 is just a really solid pickup so far. There's a really bad side flex issue, but that was noted by Lethal Gaming Gear, and they did drop the price, so this is still a really solid pickup. And then the Lamzu Maya, again, I assume it's going to land on everyone's top 3. It's a phenomenal shape, phenomenal clicks. They are using retuned blue shell pink dots, and they just feel magnificent. The side buttons feel really nice as well with no wobble, and the coating on this thing is magnificent. Like, it's so good. If it were to be a top 3, it'd be one of these 3 mice. Right now, the LA1 is kind of in a weird spot for me where it's just kind of here for testing, but I've been using it a lot recently. The shape doesn't work for me, but I will go over everything in my review of it. I'm not going to go over it now. And these 2 have been kind of the 2 that I've been keeping on my desk and in use a lot recently. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will pass it off to whoever's after me. I don't know. I'm recording this. I'm recording this before anyone else, I guess. I don't know. I'm just here. But yeah, that's my top 3. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Hey guys, my name is Snekxs, and just like AimAdapt, I am a fellow peripheral reviewer. My top picks for 2023 in no order at all would have to be the WL Mouse Beast X, the Lamzu Maya, and then finally the Ponage Stormbreaker. Starting off with the mouse I have put the most hours into, and that would be the Stormbreaker from the brand Ponage. Main reason this mouse is even on my list to begin with is just going to come down to the actual shape of the mouse. It's the mouse I always come back to whenever I feel like my hands are cramping up with a different mouse. It's also the mouse I pretty much only use when I am editing, or I just know I'll be doing something at my desk for a long period of time. The performance on this mouse is also top notch, and I never felt like I had a competitive disadvantage when using this mouse. Now on to a newer addition to this list, and that would be the Maya from Lamzu. Going to start off by saying this is probably the best mouse Lamzu has made so far. I do have 16.5 by 9 centimeter hands, so a small mouse like this works perfectly for me. Fingertip feels perfect with this mouse, and claw grip works just fine. To sum it up, this is pretty much the mini Superlight clone I have been looking for. Lamzu pretty much took the Superlight, made it smaller and more ergonomic, and made the Maya. Now on to my last pick for 2023, and that's going to be the Beast X from WL Mouse. Main reason this mouse is even in my list to begin with is just because of how fun this mouse is to use. The mouse is going to be a purely fingertip grip focused shape, which I actually did enjoy a ton when using it. Surprisingly, it's still the mouse I performed the best on. By no means is the mouse perfect. It does have its issues, and it's also not going to be the most comfortable for some people, but I have quickly learned to overlook these issues as they are not the biggest and don't really affect my aim in any way. But anyways, I want to give a huge thank you to AimAdapt for allowing me to have a part in this video. Peace, and see you all in the next one.
Hey guys, Yifang here. Welcome to my section about the top 3 mice of 2023. And a huge shout out to everyone involved in creating this video, as well as you, the viewer, for watching this, for supporting each and every one of us. I'm going to try to keep this short since it's just a roundup video, and if you guys are after more in-depth detail for each mice, check out the many reviews available for myself or for the others in this video, and those who are not here too. First up, we have the Lamzu Thorn. Lamzu mice need no introduction. They come with easily the best unboxing experience available, top tier accessories, and just all-around excellent quality at an affordable price. So skipping aside all those factors, what makes the Thorn special? Well, on the current market, where symmetrical mice is popular, users often result in claw and fingertip grip. The vast majority of traditional ergo mice are designed for right-handed palm grip use, so users find this kind of awkward if they were to make a switch to an ergo coming from a symmetrical mouse. The Thorn, however, is a right-handed ergo designed for hybrid claw and palm. versus the traditional ones, which are more so palm only. And I think this really makes it stand out upon the ergo market. Now, the main difference coming to the Thorn versus other traditional ergos is that the Thorn's hump and height section is further towards the center/rear of the mouse than traditional ergos, such as the X-Lite here, for example, or Zowie EC, Razer Death Adder, and those kinds of mice, which are all front-centered. Now, as a result, when you claw the traditional mice, the rear end of the mouse often feels too low and flat compared to the front elevation. And that is not the case with the Thorn because the hump is more towards the back. Now, other than that, light, crisp opticals, excellent coding, 4K Hz compatible, all-around phenomenal mouse, easily, I think, a game changer for ergos, and nothing more to say here. Next up, the Pulsar X2H. Now, I would like to extend this to the X2H Mini as well. If anything, I think the Mini might honestly be better than the regular here in most cases, given just how big the hump feels on the regular, and I don't think most people will have the hand size required to make this actually feel right. The X2V2 also counts, but technically that isn't a new shape of 2023. So first up, Pulsar has significantly improved on their build quality compared to all their previous mice. The new generation of the X2 family, as well as the X-Lite family, has phenomenal, well, everything. The build's extremely solid, the coding is excellent. Like, you pick this up and you just know this is a high quality product. The optical clicks, despite feeling slightly stiffer, is still crisp and very responsive and loosens with break-in time. The most important aspect, however, is still shape. And the X2H really fills a niche within the space as a unique shape with that huge hump at the rear. No other mouse is quite like this. And I think this is easily one of the top picks I can give to claw grip users. It provides excellent stability and the locked-in feeling that one might require in those high-intensity situations. 4K Hz is also available and ready. Now, fingertip users will prefer the regular X2, however. And finally, the Lamzu Maya, which was my top pick for 2023. For this mouse, the same Lamzu qualities mentioned with the Thorn are present here, and the true standout is the shape of the Maya. Now, once again, this is still a claw grip mouse, and you guys can probably see a trend here where I'm a claw gripper. But this is perhaps one of the best there are in regards to shape for claw grip. The button height and the side profile combine for a perfect pinching feeling, right between the index finger and the thumb, allowing for some of the most accurate click and click timing I've ever felt in a mouse, just giving me that confidence. Similarly, the front design, combined with the lightweight of the mouse, also makes micro adjustments just feel straight effortless. Stability and the locked-in feel, which claw grip users also seek, are present from the center and the rear design profile as well. The coding on the mouse is easily one of the best ever. Right, 4K Hz is also available and ready. Now, speaking of Lamzu, special mention here that I translated the writing from Mandarin to English for the Thorn passage, and on the Maya, I wrote the actual passage as a fully original creation. So I hope you guys all enjoyed as much as I did creating these for Lamzu for you guys out there purchasing these mice. Lastly, an honorable mention is the Lethal Gaming Gear LA1. Now, this mouse would join this selection of mice if it was a top 4 instead of a top 3. The shape on the LA1 is phenomenal. In fact, there have been many moments where I've thought about replacing one of the top 3 with the LA1 because the shape is arguably better. But it has a downfall in the quality aspect as a mouse, and doesn't quite match any of these other mice which are here. The sensor placement is also a major gripe I have with it, and considering that 4K Hz dongle isn't available for purchase yet, while all the other mice have 4K Hz available, the performance difference is still there. Now, I'm a believer of 4K, you guys might not be, but that doesn't matter. Nonetheless, I'm extremely looking forward to LGG updates heading into 2024. Now, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you agreed with the picks.
Thanks for having me, Liam. I'm Log, you're a legend. And this was a tough one to do because I like so many mice, but here's a good crack at my top 3 of 2023. So I'm going to start with the C series from Zowie, which has been my main for over 5 months now. I love the way these mice feel in my hands. They feel like they're tailor-made for my hands and my grip. Nothing comes close to being as comfortable as these mice for me. The coating is great. The ease in which I can actuate the buttons and all of their functions makes for a really smooth playing experience. The weight is nice for me too, despite the enthusiasts in the community thinking it's too heavy. It works well for me. and it fills my entire hand, which is perfect in my relaxed claw and palm grip. Love the EC series. If you haven't got one, go and bloody get one. Right, so if the EC series is home for me, my first vacation spot is the Vaxi MPO1S. When I'm feeling a bit spicy, this is the one I pick up. It's a really fun asymmetrical shape, and I'm a huge fan of asymmetrical mice because it means my pinky and ring finger aren't under too much stress when getting a firm grip of the mouse. I like how the back of the mouse makes a lot of good, strong contact with my palm, and the front of the mouse is so thin, it feels almost like a scalpel. It's really precise, and it's incredible to aim and play with. All of the buttons are tensioned perfectly, and it has my favourite coating of any mouse on the market. I can fingertip, claw, or palm the MPO1S. It's super versatile and fun. I had to mention it. I'd also talk about the Vaxi AX if I had more time, but I have to talk about this next one. So if the EC1 is home, the MPO1S is my first vacation spot, the Dink Trackstar is my go-to stag do location. It's legitimately so fun and unique to play with. It feels like you're aiming with a tennis ball in your hand, and it's unlike anything else I've tried. It's designed with aim stability at its core, and it is a 3D printed mouse, which is important to remember, so the build quality won't necessarily blow you away, but I still have mine on my desk and I play with it from time to time. I can't wait to see the wireless Dink Trackstar release soon, and I've had such a blast with my custom design. So the direction to Dink at order was make it look like a log, and they did a great job. It looks great. So those are my top 3 mice for 2023. The reason I like them is because they're comfortable, they're really versatile, and they're really fun. Hopefully you enjoyed that little clip. Thank you very much, Liam, for having me. Cheers, team. Catch you in 2024.
Hey guys, it's Skate, also known as SK5TE on Twitter, and today I'm going to be going over my top 3 mice picks for 2023. Coming in at third place, I have the G-Wolves HSK Pro 4K. The reason that this is in third place is that it has just been one of my favorite mice from the entire year. I actually got it a couple months ago, back in July or early August, and since then it has constantly been in rotation. I love the unique shape with just how small it is. It makes a huge difference coming from other mice such as the Razer Death Adder V3, or even other mice such as like the Tense Pro Starlight, which is already pretty light and pretty small, but just this mouse, just with how small and high performance this mouse is, it makes it one of my favorite choices that I've ever used. Whenever I use the HSK Pro 4K, I feel like I'm just moving my hand around. It actually feels weightless, and the mouse feels like an extension of my arm, while with other mice I just can't simply say that. It sort of feels like I'm physically moving an object, while with the HSK being so small and so light, I just find it effortless to move it along the mouse pad. I love it. My number 2 spot for 2023 is going to be the Razer Death Adder V3 Pro with the TJX mod base. Now, the reason that this mouse is in my number 2 spot is because it is just such an amazing ergonomic shape. I find that the hump of the DAV3 perfectly fits into my hand, and it is just the most comfortable position that I've ever used. Whenever I've had a long day after school or working out or rowing, and my hand is just super tired and I don't really feel like gripping an HSK or something a little bit more odd, such as the NPO1S, I always know that I can comfortably come back, grip my DAV3, and I can immediately just hop in a game. My aim always feels really solid. I always feel really comfortable, and as we all know, comfort is king, and it's just what puts this mouse at such a high tier for me. My number 1 spot for 2023 is going to be taken up by the Vaxi ZGen MPO1S. The reason why I love this mouse so much is because it does have that ergo hump that I love across all of my ergo mice, including the DAV3, EC2, Outset AX, and Lamzu Thorn. But the thing that really solidifies its spot in my top 3 is its really unique shape. It's sort of got that ambi mouse shape that you expect on mice such as like the Starlight or even the Vaxi XE, where it's got some of those flat sides and it's got that rectangle sort of boxy shape. But with the MPO-1S, with that ergo hump, it just sort of sets it apart. It makes it much more comfortable in game, where I really do need the side grips to be more ambidextrous while still having that ergonomic hump in the back sort of sticking out to the side, and I just don't find that with other mice. And this doesn't even mention the amazing build quality and performance of all of Vaxi's products. I think that all three of these mice really do highlight the industry's advancements in the past year or two. And with that being said, I'm really excited to see what G-Wolves, Razer, and Vaxi all come out in 2024.
G'day guys, what a pleasure it is to be here with all the homies in the review space. We are gathered here today as fellow reviewers to share our top 3 mice that were released in this year alone. So kicking off my number 3 spot is the Lamzu Thorn, a mouse that I honestly didn't think would smash it out this hard. This was Lamzu's first go at an Ego, especially a small one, and they did a banging job. For the most part, Egos would be clones of the Zowie EC shape. Now, this isn't the case. It's a whole different shape to me personally, and it has more curvature, a better supporting hump, the bigger side buttons, more pleasing switches, solid skates even though they look hella weird, a better supporting thumb groove, and it just accommodates my wider hand and grip style more. If it were a larger size mouse, I honestly feel it can overtake into second place for me. Now onto the second place. This is going to be the Endgame Gear OP1WE. It's a small version of the XM1 shape, but they did it differently. Instead of just shrinking it down, they roughly kept the same length, but just made it narrower. So I don't lose out on the extra length needed for my big hand and can comfortably still use it as a nice stretched, relaxed claw. The mouse is honestly built like a tank in all aspects. Just a little click wobble, a strong scroll wheel. The clicks are heavy but so satisfying, snappy and tactile. The skates are closer to my ideal taste on how small the surface area is and how well they glide. Now, 2 of my favorite things are the coating and the hump distance / position. The coating is so far the best on the market. Easy. It's super grippy, even with sweaty hands, but are a bit fingerprint magnet, hence why I prefer the white version. Lastly, the hump just makes it. It hits the right area on the palm without really creating any pressure points for an uncomfortable experience. But once again, just like the Lamzu Thorn, it's just a bit too small for me. Now, on to my favorite mouse of 2023. This is the XM2WE, the wireless version of the fan favorite XM1 shape. Now, coming from the second place OP1WE, where it was honestly near perfect for me, this is where it's at. Just loads of curvature and comfort. A high hump that just fills my palm, solid clicks, well, after a break-in period though. The best shaped side buttons I've ever experienced so far. Fantastic side grooves in which all my fingers rest and comfortably just readjust on the fly. A wider base and a longer body. The whole experience has just been so ideal for me and my taste, and nothing has really come close to it so far. So for the foreseeable future, this still remains my number 1. That's all from me today, dudes. Thanks for watching. Take care and peace.
So first of all, I want to say thank you to AimAdapt for the opportunity, and also a disclaimer about my voice. I am kind of sick at the moment, so sorry for that in advance. Thank you very much for the opportunity of letting me be part of this video. So let's get started. So as you guys already know, and the topic of the video is our top 3 mice of the year, and I have already my top 3 picks for this video, and I'll briefly go over each of one to better explain my reasons and why these are the top 3 mice of the year for me. So to get started, we're gonna go over the X2H, which is the Pulsar newer shape. Since besides the X2H, they've launched the X2A, X-Like V3, the ES versions, and the new X2 V2, but not a new shape, and this is the newer shape they have officially launched, because I think there's very few other mice that are this good for aggressive claw grip. And even though there is some people who like it more or less, sometimes trying the other size works better for them as well, whether it's the mini or the medium version. And as some of you know, this mouse is already 4K compatible, with the dongle being sold separately for $20 and the mouse for $100 at the moment. But the performance has been very good overall. The reason why this mouse is so good for aggressive claw, it's because, as you guys know, the H stands for hump, and also it has a very good flare over here that lock in your pinky pinky and your thumb, making it have a very stable grip that almost never made me feel like I needed to change or swap my grip style. I think that the big hump, the flare, and the good coating really add up to having a more locked in feeling that even with sweaty hands still remains very locked in, secured, and a good grip that doesn't give the need of switching the grip style or drying out the hand. I would compare it to the Lamzumaya coating, but maybe not as grippy. But this is mostly about the black coating and probably the other color versions. Since the white coating, it is a little bit worse, and with the main switches being optical, we won't experience that double clicking issues that we had in other mice. And also the side buttons and scroll wheel click implementation, it is good enough. I don't think they are my favorites, but they are still pretty enjoyable, spammable, and light of actuation. But overall, I've had a very good experience and performance with this mouse, and that's why I considered it my top 1. But if you want a more safer experience, I would definitely recommend going for the X2 V2 instead. And this is gonna be it for the top 1, so let's go with the top 2 right away. And now going to my top 2, I know it might be a little bit boring, but it is gonna be for me the Superlight 2. And even though it took 3 years to Logitech to launch an upgraded version of the Superlight 1, the Superlight 2 is one of the best mice out there that overall are a very safe shape, very comfortable, and good performer in general. With now being 2K compatible and a USB-C implementation finally, it still aims for consistency, and even though it's only 2K polling rate compatible, 4K polling rate is only arguably useful, and I think Logitech implementation is very solid and consistent with good performance overall. And also now with optomechanical switches that get rid of the double clicking issues. And despite the fact of it being listed at $160 and just not being my favorite mouse, I am extremely consistent, as like I said, with it. I am always able to play great with this mouse. The black again is the better coating than the white. I think that's still an issue they have to solve. And getting back to the switches, they do get a lot lighter than they were in the beginning. The side button implementations and the scroll wheel, I think, are very usable with no complaints that affect performance at all. And just for a very good and consistent performance with a very safe shape, it just makes it and remains as one of the best mice out there. That's why it's on my top 2. And finally, getting to a very controversial mouse, which is the Viper Mini Signature Edition. Even though that is listed for $300, it does make it to my top 3, since I think it is the very best magnesium mouse out there, especially for fingertip grip style as well as people with small hands. And for the Viper Mini lovers, it's just the 1-to-1 shape Viper Mini wireless. And by having flat sides, being AK compatible, and being around 49 grams, in my opinion, taking over the Ultralight X from Final Mouse, the main clicks, side buttons, and scroll wheel are very good overall. The side buttons being not my favorite, but still very usable, and the scroll wheel being tight and very defined for the steps. It just gives a very premium feeling, and definitely one of the best mouse out there. And with all of this, I definitely think it can become the end game for some people, and especially for the price. If you're paying this and you know what you're looking for and you think it is the Viper Mini Signature Edition, I think it could really make it your end game mouse. And that's probably gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my part, and also again, thank you to AimAdapt for the opportunity, and much love to everyone, as well as happy holidays.
I want to give a special thank you to everyone who has contributed in this video, and to all of you for watching. You guys have made this an absolutely incredible year for me, and I can't thank you enough. I didn't want this video to go too long, so I am going to follow up with my own list of my top 10 gaming mice of the year, and you can look forward to that dropping very soon. I'd like to ask that if you've enjoyed watching any of these creators today, that you please go down in the description, go check out their channel, and make sure you subscribe to them. If you've enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing me doing other videos like this or other collabs in the future, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.